it is a very, very diverse, dare I say, group sitting in the room today. We're going to use a different word for that. We're going to call it differentiation. But we're really talking about the same thing. Okay. So I'm going to take this idea of 4 states which tend to go through similarly shaped cycles. They look the same, no matter what scale you're looking at least for any given system. And I'm going to talk about how we think you can change those states from chaos and complexity to order. So, just to give you an outline, we'll talk about D over C ratio, differentiation over centrality for individuals and social systems. And then I'll go back to John Campbell's groups very briefly to see how this theory applies. Okay, for the introduction, I want you to imagine that you come in, wherever you're working, wherever you're doing what you do, you come in Monday morning and you're invited to go to the office of somebody, the CEO, the president, and you're told, we've had a bit of an emergency and we would like you to take over the job of, in our area academia, you've become dean for the next few weeks, or you've become vice president in charge of whatever, production. And you're a lowly person who does your job as well as you can, but now you're told you're going to be promoted to a fairly high level as acting, whatever. And I want you to imagine, how does that feel? How do you feel as an individual when you get this news? Congratulations, by the way. So very quickly, just some words. Terrified. Terrified, absolutely.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's exciting, you know. I mean, geez, you know.
Disoriented.
Disoriented. Well, that's great, because that describes chaos from an individual point of view. You don't know what's going to happen. You're kind of excited, you know, it could be great, but basically the unexpected could happen. And remember, Jim said one of the signs of chaos is a great sensitivity to initial conditions, to use the jargon. And that means when you look at your email, the secretary walks in the door when she tells you, or he tells you that you have a meeting in half an hour with a whole bunch of people, you don't even know who they are, you have no idea what's going to happen. This is chaos. Now the other extreme, I want you to imagine that you come in Monday morning, you're invited, same thing, to go in to talk to the CEO, and you're told, you know, nothing personal, we've had to make some cutbacks here, and well, you have about a day left to gather your stuff together, and it's been nice having you work here, but basically you're out of it. And for some of us, this is very real, for those of us who recently retired, all of us, I guess, Adeline, Jim, you know, all of a sudden what was predictable, what you knew was going to happen, all of a sudden, nothing. You've still got the same skills, you're still, you know, but nobody cares. So how do you feel?
Bad.
Yeah, you feel bad, you feel...
Agitated.
Yeah, you feel agitated, but you're going to do something about this, if you're like most of us. I'm not sure. One of the signs that happens in that situation, think of the ancient mariner, you're going to go around and you're going to say to people, I don't know why they let me go. I was doing wonderful work. Here, let me show you my resume, you know. Yeah, well, right, maybe we can do lunch sometime, you know, because they've got to get back to work. But you're just so focused on this situation. And we're saying that's what it feels like to be extremely ordered. No matter what happens, no matter what people start talking about, you say, well, let me tell you about my job. You know, I used to be, you know, yeah, right, well, you know, Got a little long here, but we'll have to get together sometime for coffee. But you are so focused, you are extremely ordered. Now I want, as we go through this then, I'm going to talk about what happens in systems, social systems particularly, but this is what it feels like personally. And in between, actually, is the exciting world of the zone, where, yes, you're a bit focused, you know what you're doing, but exciting things happen from time to time. It's very complex. Okay. Now, the important point, and Jim has really emphasized this, the studies of billions and billions of systems, abstract as well as real, there are only 4 states that can occur. In all systems, this is a universal truth. At least that's what we're arguing. People like Wolfram are in his book. Furthermore, these systems are fractal, so that when you look at what happens in terms of their output, in terms of what they're producing, unless somebody tells you, you can't tell whether you're looking at the level of the whole system, the whole organization, the whole university in this case, or whether you're looking at a single individual sitting in their office. They will go through exactly the same types of states. Specifically, they'll vary, but the states will be the same. Chaos, complexity, 2 kinds of order. And by the way, I'm going to, if Jim will forgive me, I'm mainly going to talk about order rather than talking about type 1 and type 2. Just to simplify. So, and there's some evidence that the same thing happens for the whole universe. We're not going to talk about that. Now, what varies as you go through from chaos to complexity to order, when you look at it, is how clearly you can see that system. Now, you know what it feels like to be chaotic and frazzled and tripping over things and whatever. And you know what it feels like to be very focused and orderly and concentrated and intense. Well, to the outsider, what they see is either very fuzzy boundaries. Going back to Jim's original definition, there is quite a bit of interaction over the boundary as well as within the boundary, so it's fuzzy. The boundaries are fuzzy in chaotic systems. The other extreme, the boundary is sharply defined. It's very clear what this system stands for, what it produces. And in between, it's complex. This is very ordered. There we go. So fuzzy to clear, fuzzy. There we go. I was just about to become chaotic. There we go.